Folks, welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. And I am your host, Conrad Cushman, and we are here today with an Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory 2020 review for October 24th, 2020. You guys are going to want to get strapped in for this one. We're talking Impact Wrestling. It's been quite some time. I know I usually only do the pay-per-view reviews for Impact Wrestling, but I've been trying to keep up with everything, and I've got a lot to say about the product that we saw tonight for this pay-per-view, Bound for Glory, which is their WrestleMania. So there's a lot to talk about. So with no further ado, let's get into the intro by my man, Montezi.
Everything pro wrestling can never be you. Listen to the podcast here for the people. The best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin. The opinion and the lesson. Yes, everyday pro wrestling, they can never be you.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining Everything Pro Wrestling. If you guys just got done watching this, hats off to you guys. It just hit 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So anybody who comes in, thank you guys so much for joining us. Quickly, I wanted to let you guys know that if this is your first time listening to Everything Pro Wrestling, I thank you. And if you guys like what you hear, do me a favor. Easy to forget, but make sure that you guys hit the subscribe button for me. Just as easy, hit that button, and then don't forget afterwards, if you want to be notified when we go live, hit the bell, and you guys will be notified anytime we go live. We also do reviews for AEW, and we will be live tomorrow for WWE Hell in a Cell, so make sure you guys are all caught up with everything happening on the channel. We try to cover everything as much as we can, so please show us some love with the subscribe. We would appreciate it. Also, thank you to those listening on the podcast platforms. Just greatly appreciate it. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, it doesn't matter where you're listening to it. I am very grateful for you guys checking us out. So thank you for that. Let's get into this and let's see who is in the live chat with us. We've got my man, the Ace. What's going on, Ace? Thank you for being in here. Chris DeZuba, thank you so much for being in here as well. PR Nightmare came in and stopped by. Thank you, PR. Good luck with work in the morning. Malik Murray is in the house. What's good, Malik? Rob also in the house. Man, we got a full house just ready to talk about some Impact Wrestling. I appreciate you guys, man. Really, really good stuff tonight, I thought, from Impact Wrestling. And we're going to run down all of it. Just crazy. Big shout out to FITE TV. FITE TV provided a code for this event. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, as seen down below, at EPW Show, you guys can enter to win these contests. I usually do them a week or two before if it's on FITE TV. As many retweets as we get, they look for that engagement, so make sure you guys are retweeting when we put out contests for Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory. We usually have all the directions in there how you could win to watch it for free. Somebody did win to watch for free. I won't give out that person's name. I'll let them reveal themselves, but it was definitely a good time, man, to catch this pay-per-view, so thank you, FITE TV, for that. Let us get into this. Tonight's show was being called by Josh Matthews and Don Callis. Big shout out to them for calling the matches tonight. And miss Ken Shamrock's Hall of Fame stuff, so I really didn't get to see it. I saw some stills of Bret the Hitman Hart giving Ken Shamrock some love. And we'll get into the Rock thing a little bit later on, because I know some people were surprised when they were like tweeting about the Rock and everything else. So we'll get into some of that. Let's start with the opening contest for this. And Chris DeZuba has revealed that he won tonight's code. So shout out to Chris in the chat. He did win tonight's code again. So Chris, thank you for entering the contest. The X Division title, though, was the first matchup. We had TJP taking on Chris Bay versus Trey Miguel versus Jordynne Grace versus Willie Mack versus Rohit, Raju, who is the current X Division champion in this one. The X Division is back to not being about limits, it's about no limits, right? So some people may be wondering, well, why was Jordynne Grace in here? Jordynne Grace, a lot of people thought became X Division champion on Impact Wrestling show on Axis, but It turns out that they said, oh, the title wasn't on the line. I never agreed to that. I never said that. So Jordynne Grace was stuck having to get into the 6-way match here to figure out who would be the champion. This one was full of action because that's what the X Division does. If you're a big fan of high-flying moves, people just flying through the sky, this is it. This is Impact Wrestling's, so to speak, mid-card title, but well worth it. The action in here. We saw Trey Miguel hit a reverse 619. I believe they called it a 916. Really dope how he flew through the ropes and then swung his body around similar to a Ray Phoenix, if you've ever seen him do that move. And he actually kicked the guy in the face, so I thought that was very unique with what they did here. After that, we saw lots and lots of chaos in here. People just taking turns. This is what these matches are all about. And one spot that I am definitely not a fan of, the Tower of Doom. They set up all these people going for the Tower of Doom. You knew you were going to see it on this show with all of these multi-man matches that they had. We knew this was coming. A Tower of Doom happens. Bleh. I think it's just one of the most overused spots. Not the biggest fan of it, so whatever. It is what it is when it comes down to it. But like Chris DeZuba said, this was the best part of the match to get things started. I do appreciate that. And what's going on, Rockstar? Glad to see that you have joined us as well. So the Tower of Doom happens. We then start seeing like a huge smorgasbord of moves. We get the stunner from Willie Mack, the cutter from Chris Bay. Bay. We saw the double stomp from Trey Miguel, which led into an octopus stretch from TJP. And then TJP started locking on knee bars on people too. Really good. Jordynne Grace ends up hitting a senton on TJP to break it up. Everybody's tired. Everybody is feeling the effects of this match. And then eventually she hits the Grace driver, which is broken up. Rohit breaks it up. And then TJP hits a splash on his opponent, but Rohit comes in and steals the pin. The one dude who I didn't think was going to win this, my prediction was Trey Miguel for this. I thought he had it, and it wasn't his night tonight. My backup was Jordynne Grace. Rohit Raju was the last person that I would have picked to win this match. But that's just great storytelling, I think, in all of this for what they did here. And the grade that I gave this match was a B-. Not too bad. I think they did a good job with what they did. And if you guys are wondering, like, what do the grades mean? I do have a scale down below, kind of borrowed from Delexman. So I kind of shaped it a little bit differently, but basically the same premise. B- for this match. Solid opener. Nothing wrong with this at all. I thought it was fun. You could do plenty of different things when it comes to the X Division. And when we want to talk about things that have, it's not about limits, it's about no limits. I think that has to go into our sponsor here, Manscaped. Manscaped will make sure you have no limits. If you guys go to manscaped.com and put in our promo code EPW show, you guys can be the person with no limits. That goes for the person with no limits in the bedroom, the person with no limits when they're running, because you won't have anything weighing you down if you get that Lawnmower 3.0. It's expensive, but I think your family jewels are worth it. So if you guys go to manscaped.com, put in the promo code, you guys can get the Lawnmower 3.0. They also have foot deodorant, cologne, the ball duster, the foot duster. You gotta have boxers. They have everything up there for your needs. You guys know the holidays are coming up. Don't wait till the last minute to buy something. Take advantage of our promo code and make sure that you guys have your family covered for Manscaped. Also, if you also want to give the gift of giving for someone who loves pro wrestling, go to powerslam.tv, get 1 free month of pro wrestling on everything pro wrestling. Put in the promo code EPW show, and you guys can get 1 free month of independent wrestling on us. Check it out, see if you like the service, and then if you do, sign up for it. And last but not least, a big shout out to some podcasts real quick, I have to shout out my good friends, Everything College Basketball. Basketball season's getting ready to kick back off, and they have a tremendous podcast. So make sure you check out Everything College Basketball. Josh Burton and his brother Peyton do a great job running that. And we also have my good friends at the Pro Wrestling Shoot. The podcast is awesome. They have some great episodes up. Actually, one with TJP that recently just went up. So you guys are definitely going to want to show love to my boy Jesse when you listen to his podcast. But let us get back into Bound for Glory with this. Sick, what's going on, brother? Thank you for joining me. My man Jesus DeLeon. What's good, man? What is good? Chris DeZuba said he loved the 3 submissions that TJP had on people. Yeah, that was really dope. How he went from he had them in like these weird death locks that he had them in, and people were just trying to stop him from doing it. That was a cool spot in the match. Six said, "Oh shit, just came in time for the ball care. Let's go." You know how it is, bro. Gotta pay the bills, bro. Ace said the triple threat tag team and fatal 4-way in the main event was my favorite match of the night. Yeah, this was a tough one to pick match of the night, Ace. I will agree with you on that. Because we start off the show with this B-. The announce team run down the card with this. We get a segment backstage with Johnny Bravo and Rosemary kind of bringing up the wedding and everything else, but everything kind of gets interrupted really quickly when Jimmy Jacobs shows up. He works for Impact Wrestling, and he says, hey, anybody who is going out there for the gauntlet, the Call Your Shot gauntlet, it's time, so let's get out there. And people are just going out there, and then after we cut to a segment, Impact, I love y'all. I don't know how this wasn't recorded beforehand. I don't know if you want the authenticity, but there was a botch right here. I'm sure everyone who does a review on this is going to catch it. They actually had a botch backstage where they were like counting down, and it was like, okay, we're live in 3, 2, 1, and you could hear all of it and see it, and then the camera like cuts back, and Rhino and Heath Slater just go into like their promo tirade that they were talking about. So Botchamania is probably going to have that on there, just so you guys are aware. Countdown botch, but they cut a nice promo here, and it sets up right going into the Call Your Shot gauntlet match. Now, the premise of this story is Rhino is in this, and so is his friend Heath. We can't call him Heath Slater, so I'm going to try to avoid doing that for this purpose. He's just Heath now. And Heath is trying to get a job with Impact Wrestling, and if Heath wins, he will be allowed to get a contract to get a job for this. Now, at the same token, Rhino is in this as well, and he wants to see Heath win, and they're kind of just doing like the friendship stuff that carried over from SmackDown when they started in 2016, I believe, as a team. So, okay, I'm with it. I'm buying this. Here's the rules to the Call Your Shot gauntlet. We start off with 2 wrestlers. People come in. You can be eliminated by being thrown over the top rope. You can also be eliminated via, I think they said DQs or something. It got really weird and nutty. This is one of those, starts with 2 people. People keep coming in Royal Rumble style. There's like a countdown clock that happens. And then when you're the last 2 people in, the match turns into a one-on-one matchup here. And there was a lot happening in this one before anybody to get into this. Somebody just said Heath Miller. I got a question for you. Do you think the X division is better than the Cruiserweight division? Malik, good question, brother. I will say this about it. The X division is better showcased than the Cruiserweight division. Fair to say? I'll leave it at that. Connor, what's good, man? Thank you for joining us as well. Good to have you in here, brother. Let's see. Uh-oh. It looks like Heath pulled a hamstring when he entered this match. Hey, I appreciate that, Nelson. Thank you for coming back in. Nelson said he had to work, but he's in here. That's dedication, man. I appreciate it. And if you guys haven't hit that like button yet, please do the brother a favor. Hit that thumbs up. Helps more people see the video. And usually the Impact videos and Ring of Honor videos do a lot better on the channel. So please help a brother out with a thumbs up. Let's talk about who was in this. So we start off with Rhino in the match. He drew number 1. He comes out first. And the first person who's number 2 was a surprise. We have, shout out to my boy Hubbard Wrestling, Sean Hubbard. Make sure you guys give him a follow on Twitter. Davari I know Sean will be happy about that from our recent conversations on Malik's channel about his gimmick from WrestleMania 21. But Davari is the first person that comes out, and Davari is jacked, bro. Like, this dude looks the same. I was like, man, this dude's in really good shape. Like, puts me to shame. Like, dude, I should definitely be hitting the gym way harder than what's going on with Davari. Hey, No Lara, what's going on? Thank you for coming in. So Davari and Rhino start things off. They battle it out. The intern was acting up a little bit during this time period. We had to get some cookies and stuff. So I missed part of this. And by the time I came back, there were a few people in the ring. My man Acey Romero was in there. And big shout out to Acey Romero. The dude is looking good. I can tell that you've dropped weight. And I appreciate the work that you're putting in, bro. Big inspiration, man. Anybody who can lose that much weight, more power to you. So I got nothing but respect, brother. I had to throw that in there. At number 9, we get our next surprise. And it is the horny one. My man Swoggle comes out. Swoggle is rocking the long hair. He comes in the Battle Royal, or the Gauntlet, I should say. And absolutely just a surprise. I was laughing at this. Brian Myers is in there, the former Kurt Hawkins, and he is a big deal in Impact Wrestling. Very weird to see somebody like come from a different company where they were like, whatever. And then over here, he's like, yo, no, this dude's really good. Like, you better pay attention to him. And they're interacting with each other, and I believe they eliminated Davari together, him and Brian Myers. They're good friends, actually, too. And really cool. So Swoggle gets an elimination with Brian Myers. They throw out Davari. And then here comes Tommy Dreamer at number 10. Tommy Dreamer, always a surprise entrant. If you ever hear there's going to be a surprise Battle Royal entrant, just assume Tommy Dreamer is in there. Words of advice from my good friend Brian, who was on the podcast before. I won't say his last name because I don't want to incriminate him. But Brian always told me, don't be surprised if Tommy Dreamer is the surprise person. And it's always Tommy Dreamer. But he came out rocking Road Warrior Animal's face paint. Rest in peace to Road Warrior Animal. I thought that this was really cool for him to come out and do that. At one point they hit the Doomsday device where Tommy Dreamer had Animal up, and then Swoggle goes to like the second rope and he just yells, oh, what a rush, and then they do the clothesline. So a little tribute there to the Legion of Doom, Road Warriors, depending on what era you watch them in. So very cool. But Brian Myers was kind of like the heater in this. He just starts tossing people out. He got rid of everybody in the ring and cleared out a lot of people from that portion of it. Next up, we had Taya Valkyrie coming out. She was looking really good in the matchup here. And then we had Fallah Bahh coming out, and we got like some storyline development with Fallah Bahh, who stole Hernandez's money. And he's been carrying it underneath his shirt, apparently, or in his tights. And all he cared about in this match was making sure he kept the wad of money that he had. And he stole it from Hernandez. I don't even want to know where this money came from. But money is the object of the game, right? So out of all this, they're all in the ring. And then we get another surprise here from the Cowboy. James Storm makes his return to Impact Wrestling. He shows up for this Battle Royal. James Storm looking great in this as well. The conditioning was on point. The look was on point. You could tell this dude was actually ready to go to WWE. I know it was reported a couple weeks back that James Storm was supposed to debut a little bit after WrestleMania. Dude, WWE, get on the horn and get this dude back. Like, he was ready for this run. So, it's just great, man. It was just great to see James Storm back. A little nostalgia for TNA wrestling fans, I think, tonight. At number, I believe this was 16, Heath comes out, and he's fighting for the contract here. And we see some people getting eliminated, and Heath eliminated Acey Romero and Brian Myers. So Myers was throwing out everybody before this, and eventually he was the one eliminated by Heath. So good spot for Heath there. Here comes Hernandez. He comes into the ring and goes straight for Fallah Bahh because he is rocking the chucks. And Don Callis did the whistle noise from that, and I've been told by people in the chat, shout out to Rob, that's a big no-no, that whistle noise in the beginning. So Don Callis did it, and I was just like, what? So I instantly laughed looking at that. dude, just so many things were happening in this. So Falaba gets eliminated, but he threw the money over before he went over the top rope so that when he did go over the top rope, he could recover the money. And he instantly does that. Hernandez chases him. He steps over the top rope, eliminates himself. Those two are out. And we're getting down to a couple people left. They eliminate some more people from like Reno Scum. And we're down to the final four in all of this. It comes down to Rhino, Heath, James Storm, and Sami Callahan is out there. Sami eliminates Storm. When Storm's trying to hang on, he just basically gives him a nice kick to the hands. He has to let go. He's eliminated. So it's down to Sami. Sami gets in the ring, and when Heath turns his back, he looked like he was hurt already. Heath gets eliminated after being thrown out over the top rope. I love Sami's line after that was like, yeah, I don't give a shit about your kids or whatever he said. I was like, damn, bro, harsh. But whatever he said, I don't give a shit about your kids. And it's down to Rhino and Sami Callahan. The bell rings because now it's a one-on-one contest. There's a little bit of a beatdown during all of this, and eventually Sami Callahan goes outside to try to get a chair. It's not no DQ, so the ref's like, hey, put the chair down, and he grabs the chair from Sami Callahan. You would think he had something up his sleeve, but he didn't, and when he got up and turned around, Rhino gores the hell out of him. Gore, and that's for the 3 count. Rhino wins, he gets the trophy, and he is going to be the person calling his shot. My prediction for this is Rhino will call his shot, but it will be for the tag titles or to get Heath a contract. That's just my humble opinion. Heath will be in with Rhino. I gave this a grade of a C+. Average battle royal. Had some goofy stuff in it. Wasn't really mad at anything. I thought it was fine for what it was. Rob said, all depends on what neighborhood you're in. Chris DeZuba said Davari was cut here. PR, I appreciate the offer, good sir, but we can't have that. We can't have these conversations online like that. I got a question. Can you see Kofi Kingston and R-Truth going to Impact? Absolutely not, sir. Absolutely not. Grade of a C+ though for this. So very fun what we got here. Then we get what I thought was a hell of a promo from the North. The North cut this promo about 94 days. They haven't been tag team champions since they lost the belts to the Motor City Machine Guns. And I thought Ethan Page, I'm not going to lie, he looked like a star here. The dude looked like a damn star. So I wouldn't be surprised if the phone starts ringing as soon as this dude's contract is up. But well done promo here. And Josh Alexander did a great promo too. The North are the shit. I'm going to say it. Like, we talk about the Knockouts division all the time in Impact Wrestling, and I was watching the Insiders as they were doing a watch along with this at the same time. Shout out to the Insiders Wrestling Podcast. If you guys like them as well, make sure you give them a subscribe. Tag team wrestling in Impact Wrestling is really good right now. Like, it's at a great state. And I just think Impact needs the buzz around them so that people can like get back into it. And the North and all the tag teams in the tag team match that we're going to talk about later are the reasons why. So great promo. I recommend people go out of their way to try to see that one if they can. Now, next, the TNA Championships on the line in an undisclosed location. This was a cinematic match between EC3 and Moose. Moose was the holder of the TNA Championship here. I'm not too sure of the backstory. I'm still trying to kind of understand what EC3's character is supposed to be. It's very weird to me what this is supposed to be, but I've only caught blips and glimpses of pieces of what this character is on different programming. So they're in a warehouse filming all of this, and EC3 has the ring surrounded, and these guys look like, I'm going to use an Undertaker term, druids, but they have on the EC3 hoodies with the new logo he has on the back with the 3 slashes, and they're kind of like pounding the ring, listening to him, and he's got all of his followers in there. EC3 and Moose go at it when Moose shows up. They're just fighting. This is an all-out brawl. A big fight feel to all of this, very cinematic in what they're doing, and during all of this brawl, EC3 winds up bleeding here. I was not mad at this at all. I thought they did a decent job with this. EC3 is bleeding. Moose comes into this, and then eventually he gets busted open after they start throwing him onto like the barricades and everything else. This match was all over the place, and these guys are both bleeding in the matchup here. Eventually Moose hits no jackhammers needed, which is the spear, and he flips over in it. EC3 begins to look at him, and he yells about what he needs to do and everything else. And EC3 lays down the TNA Championship, and he's going to use it as a weapon with his old finisher. The I think it was the 1%er was what it was called. And he has a flashback to who he used to be in TNA wrestling. And it was weird. Like, he's going for the move, then the flashback happens, and he's kind of like, what just happened? And that's when Moose takes control. And Moose picks up the belt, and he's hitting him in the head with it. And then EC3 looks at him and says, control your narrative. And Moose is like, what? And then he just gives him a big belt shot to the head. And Moose wins, but there was no pinfall. There was no, like, substantial way to show he won. That's the weird thing with these cinematic matches. And I wanted to get, like, people's thoughts in the chat about the cinematic matches at this point. Like, how are you guys feeling about them? Is this something that is working for you? Is it not? Like, I don't know how to feel about this. But in the end, Moose gets the win. I went back and forth on whether to give this the minus or not. I'm going to give this a B because I thought the production was very well. I thought a lot of the promo videos too that they did, I thought Impact Wrestling did a great job with this. So I'm going on the upper side of this, and I'm going to give this a B. I thought they did a really good job in producing this matchup, and they tried to tell a story here, and it seems like EC3 is leading Moose to the right way, maybe to get into the heavyweight division again and compete for the belts, or maybe unify the TNA championship he's walking around with in the Impact one. Who knows where this is going? I think we're going to have to watch their show to see. Let's see here. We're getting questions about the Motor City Machine Guns. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they did show up in AEW. Random question, Malik, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they show up in AEW one day to face an FTR or the Young Bucks. I mean, some of their best matches were with the Bucks. They had that up on Impact. Actually, if you guys didn't know, Impact Plus is free for the next couple days, so if you ever want to check out the service, please do so. But they just put up a match with Generation Me versus versus Motor City Machine Guns at Bound for Glory 2010, and Generation Me were the Young Bucks, for those who don't know. Hell of a match. Anytime it was Gen Me versus Motor City Machine Guns, phenomenal match. Anytime. I can remember watching the match with Rob here years ago, and we were just watching it, and we were just floored at like how good these dudes were. I think Nick Jackson at one point did a hop outside the ring without touching the ropes and a moonsault onto the Motor City Machine Guns. So dope stuff here. Next, we got a video from The Rock. You know Impact Wrestling was going to blow the load and have to show you what was up with the People's Champ. If you smell... They did a good job here. The Rock's video package was shown. This was a big deal because The Rock's a big name. And why not take advantage of this? He did a video for Ken Shamrock. Rock and Ken Shamrock have a history going back to 1998. I absolutely love their feud over the Intercontinental Championship. Ken Shamrock took a chair shot off the face to help get The Rock over. So there's respect between these two. Hey, what's going on, Madden's Elite? Thank you for joining us tonight, brother. Unbelievable. So they show The Rock's video package here for Ken Shamrock. Just, thanking him, letting you know he got in the Hall of Fame. They got some retweets out of it from for Scott D'Amore and a couple other people, I think they said, from The Rock. So good work, Impact. I like it because they were maximizing their media, social media, and everything else. So cool. Next matchup, Ken Shamrock with Sami Callahan versus Eddie Edwards. Ken Shamrock has went the heel route because of Sami Callahan, because he's an evil bastard. And Sami Callahan, if we remember, this goes back to the storyline of Sami Callahan hitting Eddie Edwards in the face with a baseball bat. Holy shit, that was bad. If you ever look that up, just be prepared to see some pretty nasty stuff here. But Ken Shamrock is now a heel in all of this. And I gotta say this too. The dude looks impressive still. For his age, Ken Shamrock is cut. He's actually cut than a lot more wrestlers on any roster. Ken Shamrock's in good shape. This dude looks like he's still ready to go. A hard-hitting match between him and Eddie Edwards to start off here. They show everything with a tiger driver being hit on Ken Shamrock at one point. He kicks out into a cross arm breaker. Ken Shamrock is making sure to utilize the MMA style that he has grown up using his entire life and bringing it into wrestling matches. So I really, really like it. Eddie Edwards eventually hits a backpack stunner on Shamrock. He thinks Shamrock is down, and at one point he's sitting there, he's tired, like just trying to catch his breath, and Ken Shamrock sits up like he's the Undertaker and then tries to snatch him up in a sleeper hold, but Eddie's blocking it with his hands, like trying to make sure he doesn't lock his arms. And Eddie goes for the Boston Knee Party, which is like a Shining Wizard type move. He gets it, puts the single leg crab on Ken Shamrock, and then the lights go out. Who could ever be doing this? It's Sami Callahan. He has like developed the hacker strategy once again for everything. And the lights went out. He's in the ring with the baseball bat. But Eddie Edwards brings out Kenny, which is the kendo stick that he's always used. And he goes wailing away on Sami Callahan and takes him down. But this gives Ken Shamrock enough time to recover. He hits the belly to belly and locks in the ankle lock. And no offense, when the originator of the ankle lock puts it on, whether it's him or Kurt Angle, and I think no one does it better than Ken Shamrock. His always look brutal. Ken Shamrock locks it in. There's nowhere to go but to tap out. And Eddie Edwards has to tap out in this one. B- for this match. Nothing but respect, man. These guys went out there and just did the damn thing. So, respect. I thought it was a suitable match here. Much better than some of the recent matches I've seen Ken Shamrock have on pay-per-view. So, this was a thumbs up. Let's see what is going on here in the chat. That chair shot from The Rock was sick. I agree, Rob. Eddie Edwards had it won. Sami Callahan, that beef goes way back, man. I thought this Shamrock-Edwards match was good. I think this is Shamrock's best pay-per-view match that I've seen so far. Not gonna lie. Ready to belly one of the referees. Obi-Wan remembers that feud, bro. Ken Shamrock used to be crazy back in the day in wrestling. Sean says, I enjoyed this show thoroughly, but I was a little disappointed. He's jumping ahead a little bit here. We'll get into that match later. I would have preferred a retain. Okay, we'll get into that. Impact needs a better TV network. I don't know how they're going to do that, Madden, when they're owned by that network, though, either. You know? Like, where are you going to go? You kind of limit yourself. Sami had that bat when he used on Edwards and nearly blinded him a few years ago. Yes. Just about every match was great. Yes. Yes. Raju winning was over. Glad he retained. Okay, Shamrock versus Moose was trash, Rob said. I thought this was all right, Rob. I think it was better than anything I've seen him do thus far. Sean Harrington, they'd pull the plug. They would pull the plug just yet. Not sure if that was something you had wrote before. And you guys are getting a little ahead of me, I think. Yeah. We'll move on to that match because I see everybody talking about the tag team match here. And this was a big deal here. Do you remember Sami yelling at JD? Funny. So, Impact Wrestling tag titles. We have a 4-way for this match. It's going to be Ace Austin and Madman Fulton versus the North versus the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows versus the Motor City Machine Guns here. So in the beginning of this matchup, the North showed they were crazy in that promo before, and they showed it in this. At the start of the match, Motor City Machine Guns are coming out. Motor City! Immediately, a beatdown is put on them. And actually, Josh Alexander hits a double underhook pile driver to Alex Shelley, takes him out. Alex Shelley sells like a boss. I don't know what happened here, but his leg was up, and he was like, yo, I'm hurt. I'm done. I'm finished. Take me out of here. They probably didn't want to pay like a crew to do the stretcher job. They were like, we'll get him out of here. And the dude just is done. Sabin has no choice. Is he going to go in by himself or forfeit over the titles, basically? Sabin decides, you know what? I'm going for it. Chris Sabin comes out there, no partner, and he gets his ass whipped really badly. And the Sabin takes a beating from the North. Fulton and then Ace Austin gets in on it. Like, Sabin had nowhere to go in part of this matchup here. Just, damn. Chris Sabin took a pretty bad beating in this. And he's still really good, man. Like, he's been with TNA since the beginning. And now that they're Impact Wrestling, I'm happy to see Chris Sabin and like still doing stuff with them. He takes the beating though, and then he finally gets to tag the Good Brothers. The Good Brothers come in like a house of fire. They do a great job here, and I really enjoyed the back and forth between Gallows and Fulton. Two big dudes just going at it in the ring. Fulton was always in NXT when Gallows was on the main roster, so we never really got to see this matchup. And I thought it was just cool to see the two big men just battle it out for a second. Sabin and Carl Anderson are the legal men. Crossbody from the top rope by Chris Sabin for a kick out. Carl Anderson rolls it over as well, and Sabin kicks out of that as well. Don Callis had a funny line here, like, I would have grabbed a handful of tights and you would have had new champions right there. And Carl Anderson is just doing his thing in this match. We see a shell shock for a 2 count by Chris Sabin. The North beat Sabin down with some double teams. They're coming in, hitting like double cross arm moves, pulling them up for like the double team Razor's Edge, dropping them down. Like I said, he's getting beat down. He finally gets a tag back into the Good Brothers. And the finish comes when everybody's down and out. Carl Anderson's in the ring, and he goes for the roll-up on... who was I about to say? Josh Alexander. And Ethan Page uses one of the tag titles and clobbers Carl Anderson in the head. He goes down for the pinfall. Afterwards, 1, 2, 3, the North regain the Impact Tag Team Championships. I'm not mad at it. They regained the titles. I had to give this a B. I thought this was really fun for a 4-way match. And I got to say this too. If you guys watch the AEW every week when I do the Dynamite reviews, I always say the tag team division is the best in the world. Absolutely. I still believe that. But put some respect on Impact's tag team division as well for this. Like, they really did a lot of stuff here that I thought was good. Ace Austin, Madman, Fulton, good little guy, big man tag team. The North really carried the tag division, I would say, for that last year before these other teams came back and got in. You have the Good Brothers now, the Motor City Machine Guns. The tag division is really popping, man. Like, I would tell you guys to go out and watch any of their tag matches. Just me. Let me see what's going on in the chat here to get some people. Rob says, Axis is a good network. They need more exposure like New Japan Pro Wrestling had. I agree. Sean says, they had them for a year, and I don't think they need them. Just came off looking like a handout to try and keep the North in Impact since Ethan's contract is up soon. Okay, Sean. No. Rob says, Shamrock versus Eddie was all right. I was referring to Shamrock versus Moose last year. Oh, yeah. That was a doozy. I got a question. Top 5 Impact Wrestling tag teams. Dude, for me, I'm going to say Beer Money, Motor City Machine Guns, Team 3D. I feel like I'm going to miss somebody if it's all off the top of my head right now. I'm going to put the North in there because I think they're a great tag team. And did you say they had to be champs or no? Just wrestling tag teams. Who else did I like from Impact that was a tag team? I think I said Beer Money. You know what? And I'll put the Dirty Heels in there with Rude and Austin Aries. Let me see. Josh Matthews was extra terrible during this match. I'm going to need to know why, Rob. The Wolves, yeah, they were a great team too, Ace. The North dominated the tag division for a whole year. Big facts, Ace. Getting into this, we cut backstage. Rosemary, John, and Bravo are still talking about their wedding that they're going to have. Taya Valkyrie, Jessica, Havok show up. Just a little scene with them. Nothing too much happened from it as far as development goes. It looks like Johnny Bravo's really into this now, though. So, Taya said he had to be his own man. And he said, I'm being my own man. And yada, yada, yada. He was dressed up like Two-Face tonight. So, very different hanging out with Rosemary and seeing all that. Now, next up, we have the Impact Wrestling Knockouts Championship. If anybody has details on what happened to this match, it was supposed to be Kylie Rae versus Deonna Purrazzo with Kimberly. I don't know what happened to Kylie Rae. Somebody tell me. Like, let me know what happened, because, you know, I don't... Dudley's LAX to North and AMX for honorable mention. Not a bad honorable mention, good sir. Broken Matt and Brother Nero. Yeah, the Wolves. Rob said Taya. Kylie was in contact with someone who had COVID. I did not know that. Well, Deonna Purrazzo comes out and she has an open challenge. She gets on the mic, says, anybody, doesn't matter who it is, knockout, male competitor, female competitor, somebody come out here and challenge me. And during the open challenge, Su Yung comes out to answer the open challenge. Not Susie, Su Yung. So this was really dope to see her back. Su Yung starts off the match very strong, taking out Deonna. And let me say, Deonna Purrazzo's ring attire, hashtag wrestling fashion. Damn right. Like, Deonna Purrazzo just looks like a star. I have to give her props. I don't know why she wasn't used as much on NXT or with some of these other companies. Like, the Virtuosa looks good, man. They really should have been using her more. Deonna finally gets in some offense here. She uses a lot of technical wrestling and submission wrestling to wear down Su Yung. I don't have a lot of details going into it. You saw like German suplexes with the holds held onto her, submission moves. Su Yung begins to brawl back, and eventually she pulls out the pedigree on Su Yung to put her down. But Su Yung puts on the glove that she uses to lock in the mandible claw here. And during all of this, we see that she locks her in a submission hold, trying to take her out with her Virtuosa finisher move with the armbar. And she locks in, but Su Yung put on the glove, and the mandible claw gets used to have her break the hold. So then they're both getting up, and we see the classic ref bump that we know is coming from a Knockouts title match. The ref bump happens during all of this, and hey, what do you know? The ref's down. Kimberly gets into the ring. She grabs the steel chair that was tried to being used before, and when she goes in, she gets red mist in the face. Su Young's got the red mist all around her mouth. It looks perfect. If you've never seen Su Young's character, she is like a zombie. She's got like, it's crazy. Her hair's a mess. She looks like the chick from The Ring, basically. Hair's a mess. Got the white face paint on. She spit red mist. She's got like blood and stuff. It looks like all over her. And after all of this, she goes for a submission with the armbar. Mandible claw gets locked in. She comes off the ropes. The referee is up. She puts her on her shoulders into a driver. The driver looked brutal the way she hit it. 1, 2, 3. Su Yung is the new Knockouts champion. This division cannot be crapped on. I absolutely love the Knockouts division. Out of all the American-based companies, I will say that this one, for a women's division, I think they've got it together the most right now. Knockouts division, to me, great. Davey Richards stalled Eddie Edwards' career. Rob, we can get into that another time, brother. You know how that's a long thing that we can talk about. Do I think EC3 should go back to his 2015 TNA days? No. Question off topic. I hear Jeff Hardy is bringing Willow to WWE. Can he use that character, and will Vince F it up? To answer, will Vince F it up? Yes. But Jeff Hardy bringing Willow to the WWE, I was told that Impact's not going to bother with like the lawsuits with people if they take their characters. They said you're free to do it, so why not? I could see it happening. I see a lot of people. I like how EC3 is now. You can't have old EC3 without Dixie Carter. Exactly, Sean. I agree with that. Sean is asking, how did Davey stall Eddie's career? Sean, after this is done, I want you to go watch their tryout match on NXT. It was on the network, and there's a spot that happens in the match to where you knew they weren't getting contracts. Watch it and see what happens. Afterwards, we'll get into that. So Su Yung wins. B+ for this, man, for me, for a rating. I thought this was good. I think this is arguably one of the matches that you could say, was it match of the night? Yes. Lots of fun. for me. I thought this was really good and showed why the Knockouts division is really good. And after the match, we got an announcement, guys. The announcement was concerning what was going to happen with Impact, because Madison Rayne was on commentary team, probably because of Josh. I don't know. I haven't been watching enough to know, so maybe she comes out for all the Knockouts matches. If somebody watches every week, let me know. But we find out that the Knockouts tag titles are returning at Hard to Kill January 16th, 2021. Here's a look at those buttes right here. The Impact Knockouts tag team titles are returning for that division. I like the look of the belts. The Impact titles are subtle, but I think they look good, in my opinion. Do we need tag titles? I think you have to handle the tag team divisions correctly if you're going to do it. That's just my opinion. Like, have teams, have things that you're going to want to do. If you guys like the titles, let me know in the chat here, because I would love to hear your thoughts on it. But like I said, this division, you have to treat it right. Don't give tag titles if you don't have plans and if you don't have tag teams, because it's a waste of time. All right? That's just my point to all of it. I don't even remember who had the titles besides the Beautiful People and Eric Young and ODB last time. And I think, I don't remember if Rosita and Sarita had them. I think they did too. Other than that, I can't tell you who else was Knockouts tag champs previously. Just my opinion on it. Let's see here. Impact has the best women's division ever. Woo, that's a bold claim, Ace. That's a bold claim. Not going to NXT was the best things for Edwards, in my opinion. He would have never been world champion in WWE. You never know what could have happened with him, Sean, too. I like it as well. Obi-Wan said, thank you, Obi-Wan. Let's see here. Those belts are nice. I'm glad they aren't. Yeah. I'm not even going to repeat that line in here. And Sean also said, I'm positive WWE would F Willow up. Rob says the Wolves should have been on the biggest stage at least once in their careers, but Davey messed that up during their tryout. Hate WWE all they want, but they build profiles and pad resumes. This is true. Willow joining The Fiend would be awesome. I think Willow feuding with The Fiend could have been great. Or even if it was Jeff Hardy. I think that's a solid decision going forward if they decide to do that. Yeah, booking-wise, they absolutely do, though. I'm with Sean. I see both points of this, guys. I see both points of this. But I want to keep this about Impact, because Impact doesn't get enough love, especially on my channel. They don't get enough love because I don't review the weekly show. Too much wrestling in 1 week for me. But Hard to Kill, the Knockouts tag titles are returning. And guys, let's get into the main event real quick here. For the Impact World title, we have Rich Swann challenging Eric Young for the championship here. If you guys remember, Rich Swann was taken out. Eric Young put the injury on his ankle that took him out for quite some time. During this matchup, Rich Swann just has this different look and feel to him tonight, and he is ready to go. Swann starts off fast, and he is explosive in all of this, but his neck quickly becomes the target of Eric Young. And we thought he would focus in on the leg like he did in the beginning, but he went right for the neck as soon as Swann kept grabbing it and hurting it. And we saw a really sick wheelbarrow neckbreaker off the second rope, where he basically had him in a wheelbarrow, threw Swann up, neckbreakered him down, and I thought that they could possibly end the match there, but Swann kicks out. And after this, the story just becomes him beating down Rich Swann, going to work on his neck, and he says, stay down. Rich Swann won't do it. He begins to punch him and slap him in the face throughout all of this, and he keeps saying, this world belongs to me, and Eric Young is trying to make sure Rich Swann knows this. During all of this, we get a great spot eventually where Swann's getting slapped in the face, blood is in his mouth, and he eventually fires up, and he just starts screaming. He grabs Eric Young, punches him, hits him, gets him in the corner, Irish whips him into the corner. He flips over, does the Ric Flair spot, runs to the other corner, goes to the top. Swann runs up, meets him there, and then just like belly to bellies him off. Great spot, so that gives Swann the hope spot there. He gets back up eventually, and he hits a frog splash for the 2 count because Eric Young kicks out here. Young eventually gets onto the top rope with Swann. He bites him, and knocks him off, and he hits an elbow drop to the back of Rich Swann's neck where he's been working for the entire match. He goes for the pin, 1-2. Swann kicks out, but it leads to a crossface. There's nowhere to go. You don't want to be in a crossface too long, especially with an injured neck. Don Callis and Josh Matthews are communicating that to us. Well done. And he eventually gets his foot on the rope, and he is trying to make sure that he breaks the hold. Eric Young lets go, and he is just crazed. He is looking like, oh, what do I have to do to beat this guy? And he starts focusing in on Rich Swann's ankle, and he said, I told you I was going to get that ankle. And he's stomping on the ankle, working it over. And eventually, Swann gets some offense in and hits a side kick, like one of those Bruce Leroy side kicks right to this dude's jaw. He goes down. He gets a near fall from it. And then eventually, Rich Swann hits a cutter, goes for the handspring cutter. And everyone's like, pin him, Rich, you got the match won. What are you doing? Rich Swann looks to the top rope, climbs up, and hits a Phoenix Splash like he used to as his finisher. And after he hits the Phoenix Splash, he gets the 1, the 2, the 3. Rich Swann has become Impact Wrestling Champion. And I would be lying to you if I told you I was dancing in my living room when Rich Swann won, because I am a huge Rich Swann fan. Very happy just to see him become the champion. I saw a lot of wrestlers showing love on Twitter before I got on here, man. Big respect to the homie Rich Swann. He wins this match up here. Another match that you could argue is match of the night, B+. A lot of the matches, as you can see, fall into a certain territory tonight, and there were some B+ matches. You could argue any of those. You could even argue maybe the tag match with the B was match of the night. Be my guest, man. Argue it. But really good stuff here. Really, really, really good stuff. Dude, just cool to see the roster come out to celebrate with Rich Swann as it goes off the air. Really good, man. Really good. And I have missed a lot of comments here going on. We saw some good back and forth here. Sean says, I'm happy for Swann. I do kind of wish Young had a longer title reign, but they delivered a fantastic match. Let me see here. And Swann kicked ass. I do hope he and Willie eventually reform as a team after this reign. I love them as a team. I think I've loved everything Rich Swann has done so far in Impact Wrestling. Let me see. I got a question for you. Do you think Eric Young should make a new Sanity? No. Do you think Impact Wrestling should make Moose the World Heavyweight Champion? I think down the line you could. I thought they had a real chance to do it with Austin Aries a couple years back. I did a review for that pay-per-view as well in the archives if you want to check it out. But yeah, don't know here. Side note, Rich Swann is a guy who needs to never shave again. He looks like an extra from the Busta Rhymes Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See video. Terrible, Rob. Yeah, I don't know why Swann shaved tonight for it, but whatever. Maybe they wanted a babyface champion. Badoomch. Rich Swann never gives up on his dream of becoming the Impact World Champion. I can respect that, Ace. Let me see. Madden's Elite says Sanity was ruined. Facts. I think Eric Young should ruin the wedding and Rosemary goes heel, and Young and Rosemary and the Sinister Minister himself, James Mitchell, all aligned together. Ooh, as the new Decay. You might even be able to throw Crazy Steve in there too. Not bad. Not a bad idea. Su Yung and Rich Swann are on top of the world tonight. Yo, big facts. If you guys didn't know, Rich Swann and Su Yung aren't together. I don't usually bring that stuff up, but yes, I'm happy for both of them. Nice, man. Nice. So, overall grade for this pay-per-view show, guys. I went with the overall grade of a B. I thought that this was a solid show. If you need a show to get you back into Impact Wrestling, TNA, whatever you want to call it, I think this is a good place to start. This show was excellent, and I could appreciate a good job that was done on this show, period. Now, I don't want to keep you guys too long. It's been 54 minutes already. I'm looking at the timer. So what I want to tell you guys is this. Tomorrow, we'll be back for a live stream of WWE Hell in a Cell. We'll be on after it goes off the air. I don't know how long I'll be doing it for, but come on in. We'll be talking again after it goes off the air. I love hearing what you guys thought. As you guys can see, your opinions matter. I try to read as many of them as I can when you're in the chat talking with me. So thank you guys for that as well. And this was a really good pay-per-view by Impact overall, and I want to say that I absolutely love what we're doing here with Impact Wrestling, and I look forward to seeing what they do at Hard to Kill in January. So make sure you guys stick with me. I should have a review up for that in 2021 once it's back, but for now, stick with me. AEW Dynamite reviews every Wednesday, pay-per-view reviews when they happen and they go off the air. Come on in, come talk with us, and hear what we do for the podcast here. Check out the link tree, man. We have T Public Store and What For Apparel. Get yourselves a t-shirt. That's the best way to support the podcast. Follow us on Twitter. All of the social media handles are down below. We got 1.3 likes on Facebook, so big shout out to everybody for recently liking the page. Instagram, we could always use more followers on there. And yeah, show some love and make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like button if you guys are in here listening to me talk about Impact Wrestling. Thank you so much to FITE TV for helping me get this event out there, and congratulations to Chris DeZuba who put in the chat that he won. So happy for you guys. Thank you, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow for Hell in a Cell. Take care, guys.